Hi guys, good to see you today. My friend and assistant just told me to go flow. She said I'm ready. Okay, today is going to be a tutorial on making a college, or you could use any sport, any school, but I'm going to make a college team wreath. And, of course, being from Kentucky, I'm going to make a Kentucky wreath, and you can make whatever kind of wreath you'd like to. Now, I'm going to use this license plate that I got somewhere, and it's going to go in the middle, but you could find one for your team or some kind of little sign or whatever. I'm going to start today with this wreath form. It has 2 rings. And I'll be calling, of course, this one the outer, this one the inner. This is 16 inches in diameter. It's not 16 inches after it's made. It's 16 inches right now. Some people measure it or give a measurement for the wreath after it's made. Now, when this one is made, the one I made like it, it ended up being about 31 inches across, or the diameter. So, let's get started. Now, I picked this wreath because it already has the ties on it. These are, they almost look like evergreens, but they're the little twist ties. They are black or a dark brown. And the reason is, this was actually from the fall section of Hobby Lobby. And at the end of the season, you know, they put everything half price, or sometimes even more, sometimes 60% off. So this was from Hobby Lobby, and it says $6.99, and I'm sure I only paid half price or less. So about $3.50, and you already have your ties. Now, if you don't have your ties, that's not a problem. You can take potholders. You can take pipe cleaners and make a twist tie with them. And I'm going to do that because this one has one of the stems missing. So I'm going to, all you do is put your pipe cleaner, Chanel stem, whatever you'd like to call it, and you can just put it up here, give it a few twists so that it is secure, and you're ready to rock and roll. Now, I'm just going to leave the other one on there. I'll just put it up against this one and use it when I tie. So you see, you could make your own. You would just have to take some time and put your ties on it. I guess maybe I need to do a video on that sometime. And I know there are some already on the internet. Now, another thing, I like to go ahead and pull up my ties. Check these out. Make sure you know that both ties are there, and you can count if you want to, but most of the time in a similar size wreath, you will have 9 sets of ties on the outer ring and 7 sets on the inner ring. So you can get those. I like to get them pulled up, sort of. Then I might even bend the outer ones out a little bit, because for some reason, I like to start with the center. Okay, of course, Kentucky colors are white and blue, royal blue, so I have that. I have ribbons already cut. I didn't want you to have to sit and watch that, but I have four different styles of ribbon. I have polka dots. I have, this one says basketball. This one says Go Team, and this one has, of course, the Wildcat paws, or whatever team you have might have paws. And then I have, I ran out of the ribbon, let's see, I ran out of this basketball ribbon, so what I'm going to do is just cut 4 plain blue ribbons. So let's just go ahead and do that. It's so nice to have everything cut that you possibly can before you start. So I will tell you that I cut each of my ribbons in 14-inch strips. Some people might use 12-inch, and it may depend on how big. Maybe if you have a smaller wreath form, you might only go 12 inches. So I'm going to use my mat, my brand new mat. You're not going to believe I got this huge mat for $20 at a quilt seminar. Okay, I came out to 14 inches, and I just make my cut. And actually, there's a shortcut for doing this. You can buy tools that will help you do this, and really, I wouldn't even had to make that first cut. I do this. I go down, I say, okay, there's a strip that's 14 inches, and I just take the ribbon and I bend it over. I pull it down the same length as the other ones. Let go, pull this one down. I have 14 inches of ribbon, and to make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 strips. So here is what I do. I take my ribbon that's still, the end that's, it's still connected to the ribbon spool, and I just cut that, I'm through with that. Then I go between, sort of in the middle here, and cut across the top. Do the same thing down here. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you might want to just cut every ribbon separately, and that's fine too. I've done that a lot, but for the most part, I can sort of handle it to just wrap it around itself, and every 14 inches I just make a crease and come down, come up. You can buy, like I said, there are tools like pieces of plastic this long or however long you want it, and you just wrap it around the plastic. I just wrapped it around nothing. So now we're going to make our edges of the ribbon, the ends of the ribbon. We want to make it look a little more professional. So we want to dovetail or snakehead. I've heard this called snakehead. I've heard it called lots of things. What I did, I just took my ribbon, I folded it in half, put the two ends together, I fold it long ways in half again, and then this is the folded edge, this is the wired edge. I just pick a spot on the folded edge, I cut at a diagonal upward to my wired edge, and I have now some pretty ends of the ribbon. I do that with the rest of my ribbons, and you'll have some really nice professional looking. I put two together here, and I'll just put those two together, and then I'll come down here. Now if you have never dovetailed, there are videos on just learning to dovetail, or at least that's a big part of it. So one more, and I have these dovetail. But this is something, cutting all your ribbons. I didn't want you to have to sit and look at that. So cutting all my ribbons is something I can do when I'm watching TV. Or I can invite my friend over and then she cuts them for me. She's so sweet. And I help her do things too, so we just work together well. Her name's Alinda Heath. Alinda Jane. All right, now we're ready to get started putting some mesh on here. This roll of mesh is, you can buy it in 10 or 10.5 inch width. This one happens to be 10.5. I don't know if you can see or not, but the price is $6.99. This is a sort of a flocked, actually snowball mesh, but flocked mesh, and I think it's just beautiful any time of the year. I love the flock. I want to put the white on first. It'll be like my base layer. I'm going to put it on an inner ring and on the outer ring. Then I'll put my blue over it, because for Kentucky, it's, you know, the blue color is, I would say, their main color. This is easy. It takes a little while. You may not want to watch the whole thing. If it gets slow, I'll cut that part out and you won't have to watch the whole thing. So I'm going to start on the inner ring. I'll just go ahead and start with this goofy twist tie that I have. All you have to do is just put in a few inches here and give it a twist. Now you don't want to twist too many times, maybe a couple, just to hold it there, because we will be using this again when we end this round. So I just take, now what I did is I used 12-inch poofs. So I just measured on my, now you don't have to, if you do a lot of these, you won't even have to measure. But I did make 12-inch poofs. I measure 12 inches. I come to the next tie. I just do a couple of twists. And I'm just a fluffer, and I'm going to say most crafters are. I just like to go ahead and fluff it a little bit. Then I just do the same thing. I come out. Now, let's see, who is it? It's Lori Jacobs, I believe. She does a little thing where she goes 1, 2, 3, and that's her measurement. I'm not that good yet. I'm gonna have to. Oh, that would have worked. So after you make a few, you may not have to measure every time. So again, I'm just doing a couple, and you know why? Because I'm going to go back into every one of these ties for my ribbons. And sometimes you even put other things besides ribbons in your ties. So we don't want to tie it 5 times, and then we have to untie it 5 times. So another 12. I'm going from 12 to 24 on here. And a tie. It really goes pretty fast, doesn't it? So it's not too bad going around. You see, and I like to do this. So you can always fast forward me too if you don't like to watch all of this. I may take some of this out when I edit. And here we go. And I would like you all to think about something. I'm thinking about starting a design group so that I can show you all different kinds of wreaths. I like to do everything. I like to make bows, make wreaths. I even like to paint sometimes, but that's not really my specialty. I really like the wreath making. I like to make wreaths on these kind of frames. I like to use mesh. I like to use a grapevine wreath as my base and use greenery and flowers. I even like to do flower arrangements, but I'm not sure everybody would be for that. But I would like to do, we'll let you know exactly what it is I plan to do each month. And you would, and I'll still do some free things. You don't have to join this group to get some training. So look at this. I am on the last, and see, I have come back to the one I started on, so that's why I didn't want to twist it too many times, because I'm using it again to tie this last loop on the inner ring. Now, I don't cut it or anything like that. I am still, and again, I still just gave it a couple of twists. I fluff a little bit, and I think it's already pretty. And you won't see these twist ties when it's done. If there are any that show, I just sort of roll these down and stick them underneath. Okay, so I'm going to the next, watch this, I'm going to the next ring. I'm going right over here to the next twist tie. It's just a little straight piece. I go over there, put this in, give it a couple of twists, and see, it's just a little piece connecting from the inner ring to the outer ring. And again, then what I will do is measure out 12 inches. I'm going to go from 12 to 24 here. And I can go in any direction. I think I'll just go this direction. It seems like that's the direction that this mesh is taking me. I go to the next set of twist ties. And I put it in here and give it a good twist, maybe even two. And I just continue all the way around this bottom, or what we call the outer ring. Melinda, can you think of anything I've left out or anything I need to tell everybody?
No, I think you've got it under control.
All right. So I would really appreciate if you do learn anything from this. I would appreciate if you like and subscribe to my channel. I've been, my channel has been growing some lately, and when I start my design group, I definitely will be doing a certain number of tutorials each month. Whatever I promise you I'll do, I will do it, and then you'll be able to, of course, watch it as much as you want. And I will be doing some live videos. I have done lives in a little Bible study that I'm doing, but I haven't done any, or I don't know if I've done any for the wreaths or not, but I don't think so. So, but I like the lives because then I've watched about 1 million of them, and I've been, you know, I like to comment on the lives, and I like to participate. So I think you'll like that. I'm sure you've probably watched other lives. Okay, you might want to wear something that doesn't catch on the mesh. Here we go again. Another twist. And if this, another 12. I try to make it so that when this mesh, when I pull it and make a poof out of it, that the edges are down at the bottom of the loop, because you want to have this area to poof. I mean, how are you going to have a poof if you don't have your edges downward? You got to have something in the middle to poof up. You may not know much about me, and you may not want to, but I was a teacher, so that's one reason I love making the wreaths, but I also love trying to show people how to make them too, because I've just done that for so many years. I've taught for 32 years. I worked in the school system, and I enjoy instructing, I enjoy instructing people, but what I really enjoy is something like this, because if you watch one of these tutorials, or if you get in on one of my lives, you want to be there. You don't have to stay. Nobody's making you. You know, if you're in school and you're a student, whether you're a college student or a high school student, you're there and you feel like you have to perform as well as you can. You don't always get to listen to the instructor's instructions 2 times. It's not videoed. Well, now these days you do take some online classes, but you're doing this because you want to. If you're crafting, I'm going to say you are doing this because you want to, not because you have to for any other reason than just sheer enjoyment. And my friend and I, Linda, we were talking today about how much we love watching videos and of how to do things. And I think I could probably just sit around all day and watch videos. And I love Pinterest so that I can get ideas. And there's so many cute things out there to make. And people just amaze me at what they come up with. They have so many good ideas. And I'm going to, of course, in my group, I will keep things current. We'll do some seasonal things and, you know, some things you can do year-round, like this basketball or football or whatever sport. I mean, if you have a team, you can just make a wreath to represent that team any time of the year. All right, I'm at the end of the outer ring. I'm just going to cut off leave about 3 inches. And that's what it looks like so far. We're definitely not done. But, Linda, I'll hand you that.
Okay.
Now I'm working with a 21-inch wide. And this needs to be cut off. And I have a rotary cutter, but I'm just going to do it with scissors right now because my new mat still has a plastic casing around it. So I don't want to, I guess I could cut that. It wouldn't really matter. But I'll just even this up a little bit with my scissors. Now, I know this is bigger than the white, but the white is still going to show because I'm going to sort of pull the poofs. I'll pull the poofs out from each other, and you'll get to see a little bit of each one of these poofs. So I'm just starting the same way I did with the 10-inch, 10.5-inch. I just crunched it up. I'll start on the inner circle, and I am untying that. I didn't. That's why I said that one of the reasons is that I'm going to put 2 layers of mesh, and then I have ribbon. Ribbon.
So you don't leave the twist tie one thing. You undo it all the way to
Right.
put the blue back, to put the blue on top of the white.
I did.
Okay.
You don't have to. I guess I just learned to do it that way, and I just think it holds better if you do that, but you definitely don't have to. If you have enough of your twist tie, if it's long enough, and you can get 2 things in there, 2 different poofs in there, without going down to the other mesh, then that's fine. Just however you want to do it. But I used to watch a lot of Trendy Tree. I love Trendy Tree. I love the ladies from Trendy Tree, and they always went down to they untied it all the way. So, and it looks, everything they do is beautiful, and the people that do it the other way, their stuff is beautiful too. So, whichever way you want to do it. All right, so we're doing the 12-inch poof. Actually, sometimes I go a little bit over 12-inch on the blue because it's on top of I might go 13 inches on that. it's on the top. So it, you know, might need a little extra. Okay, I've got this one open, and I'm ready to put this down. I definitely like the wreaths that already have the ties. It's already looking pretty. Now, if you're an Alabama fan or something, you might not think it looks pretty because it's blue. But if you're my daughter's an Auburn fan. She and her family are Auburn all the way. I know then Alabama fans. We have high schools. And you just pick out colors that match your school. And you can do this same thing. And it will be beautiful.
You know, you've got the license plate that you're going to put up there. But,
right.
You know, if you've got grandkids that are athletes, and you know maybe you've got a volleyball granddaughter that plays volleyball, or I mean you can get any type of a ball or whatever, and
right.
and put it in this when you get finished with it for whatever sport they are, you know, whatever sport they participate in.
Exactly. That's a wonderful idea. You don't have to really have a school. You could do, just like she said, a certain sport. I mean, this would be pretty to do black and white and then put a soccer ball on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, you can do something with...
Our daughters played softball.
Right. And these days, though, the softballs for girls, of course, softball is a different sport than baseball, but they're yellow. The balls are yellow.
Yeah.
When our girls played, they were white.
Mm-hmm.
But they're yellow with the red. And you could do something like that. You can find signs anywhere. Walmart. You could, if you like the Dollar Tree, you can find things in there. I am very fortunate to have a Trees and Trends fairly close to me. So I got my UK license plate at Trees and Trends. Now, I will have to tell you one thing. Having that collegiate, that would be trademarked. And I could not put that on my wreath and put it up on Etsy for sale. Because it has, I don't have a license to resell UK goods. Now, I think that's silly, but that wasn't my choice. That's a law. So I can do it here and show you all, but I could not put this on Etsy with that UK sign. And I think that's a bummer, but that's the way it is. But I wanted to show you all because you can just do it for yourself, for a friend, whatever. You could do it for somebody and tell them they'll have to buy their own sign, and they could do that and put it on themselves. But we are not allowed as resellers to sell any kind of emblem or anything with a collegiate sign on it, or anything. I'm not sure. I don't think we're even supposed to sell like Disney stuff, but
anything that's trademarked.
Yeah, anything
I would
that's
think it's not
trademarked. Probably not supposed to.
They can only sell their own stuff. We
right.
can't sell.
Like I would have to get a license to sell Disney goods or UK collegiate stuff. I would have to, because you know there are a lot of stores that sell it, but they have a license to sell it. I mean, they even have the stuff at our Dollar General. They have I didn't get this there, but I've noticed they do have University of Kentucky UK things. They have notepads, they have ink pens, all kinds of items that have the UK emblem or trademark or whatever you'd like to call it. Okay, we're coming along. We've got the... It'll look pretty when it's finished, I promise you. It's starting to look pretty, but
the ribbon's going to, all of the ribbon, when you put that on, that will really make it shine.
Ribbon. I am a ribbon fiend. Ask Olinda. She's sitting in the middle of some of my ribbon.
I actually could swing the camera around so that you could see all these gigantic bows and stuff that she's got back here off to the left a little bit. But
I sure do love ribbon. My husband thinks I have enough ribbon.
And then some.
What? Yes. But what does he know? All right. You see what I did? I ended my inner. I just made a little straight stretch there and put it in the twist tie for the where I'm going to start on the outer ring. And again, I'm just going to measure about, like I said, I might go about 13 inches on this blue. I think I'll go back this way this time. I know you don't have to see me twist everything, but see, I've untwisted that right down to the mesh. Now I'm putting this mesh in, and I give it a couple of twists to hold it until I can put my ribbon in. And I just go around the entire outer ring. And this part that I had cut off when I ended my white one, I just stuck it under there. So now I'm going around. Maybe I'll put this on fast speed before I upload. All right, so I'm going around, and I have been taking every one of these right down to the mesh. But like I said, you don't have to. I'm doing a little bit of fluffing. I've got more fluffing I want to do. And what I did on my other wreath that I made like this, which I could tell you that after, but I made what I would do is when I fluffed, I pulled the white down and the blue up. On the next one, I pulled the blue down and the white up. You don't have to do that either, but it just gave a little variety, I think. So, Alinda and I have been trying to, I got something new for my tripod, and, I don't know. I think we're going to have to go to
Plan B.
Plan B on my tripod.
Plan A didn't work out real well.
A did not work. And I got 2 tripods. A didn't work on either one of them. So I'm just going to go all around, and then I'll do some more fluffing. I don't know what you guys, but I love to fluff. I like to fluff ribbons. I like to flush. Okay. Always flush. But anyway, I like to fluff.
I'm not saying a word. Not saying a word.
She's keeping quiet over there.
It's really hard, but I'm not going to say a word.
So, I do fluff.
Excuse me.
Let's see. Get around. Oh! Well, I'm at least halfway around here.
It's looking good.
Like I knew it would. I can't sing either. Alinda can. She can sing and play piano and chew gum all at the same time.
Yeah.
She does sing at church sometimes. And I've got a piano down here now, so I've heard her.
No.
Maybe she'll play for you guys one day.
No.
But I did hear her down here. I've heard her before when I'm upstairs. And she has played a little, but she's a good piano player. Excellent. And do you read music? You don't do by ear, or do you do?
I do not. I wish I did some, but I don't.
She reads music. Well, I took piano for 5 years. Does that count for anything?
Absolutely.
I can't play anything but chopsticks.
That might hold you back a little. But,
I can play chopsticks.
well,
Yes. I can even play the fancy chopsticks.
that's even better.
Yes. And Heart and Soul, is that the name of that one everybody plays?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that's touched a piano can probably play Heart and Soul.
I would say that there's probably people that have no idea what we're talking about.
There could be.
Because that goes way back.
If they're young. If they're not old.
Yeah.
Like I am. But hey, we've got grandchildren, though, that keep us a little bit up to date on things.
That's true.
I got some grandchildren. I've got them from 5 to 20. Set of twins that are 5. And my other daughter, each of my daughters have 3 children. And so we have to go to Alabama to see some of the kids, the little ones. And the others are near here. The ones near here are basketball fiends. Absolutely.
3
Yes.
boys, all
3
all
boys.
play ball.
And they, whew. Now one's out of school. He's going to be a nurse. Which is sometimes a scary thing. Not really. I might let him work on me. I don't know. He might get me back for some things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're gutsy, you know. You're
I
really
know.
gutsy.
I would be gutsy. But I let my son-in-law operate on me, so, All right. Look at this. I am done with the blue mesh. Look, I still have some left. And I used a little bit of it already on the other wreath I did. So it doesn't take, I'm going to say it takes more than a half a roll, but it doesn't take a whole roll of the blue, and it doesn't take a whole roll of the white. How much was left on that white? Do you know?
It was quite a bit.
All right. So, look, and I haven't even done all my fluffing. I got fluff. Okay. I let the white sort of come out in the middle, so on the inner, I usually fluff, pulling the white out, and then having the blue a little bit back from that. But just whatever. Sometimes this stuff has a mind of its own. And then on the bottom, I think I told you I try to pull out blue. Then on this one, I will try to pull this one I pulled out the white. This one I'll pull the blue down and have the white up here. Do the opposite here. I'll do the white. And then the blue. Then I'll fluff the blue. Anybody tired of hearing me say that yet? Well, Linda probably is.
She's a fluffer.
See, she can't turn the volume off. You can. You other people can. Okay, that's the blue. This is the white. This one's going to be the blue. You know, and I do all this stuff, and you guys probably do the very same thing. And then you think, oh, and when somebody comes and picks it up or takes it to their home, are they going to treat it so fragilely like this? Are they going to be careful with it? Or is it, you know, if you have ribbons, are they going to be all wrinkled by the time they get it home? And
Do they fluff them?
I mean, I hope they fluff. It would be a sad day if they didn't fluff. Okay, so there.
That is poofed.
It is
That is poofed.
poofed. It is poofed. But the pretty part is yet to come. Okay, guys, I saved you a little boredom by going ahead and putting in the ribbons in most of the twist ties. I put one in every single twist tie when I do this kind of wreath. And I saved 2 because I knew you'd want to watch a little bit of it. So here it is. I had already cut my ribbon, and I cut these at 14 inches, and then I put the dovetail on it, which I think I've already shown you that, but I've got some others that I can show you again. So I want you to look and see. Here's my twist tie that is holding my 2 poofs. I'm just going to untie that because I only did it a couple times. I'm going to take my ribbon. Now here's how I do the ribbon. I try my best. It doesn't always work, but I try not to get the exact same 2 ribbons in the ties that are next to each other. It's not possible, but when you get to the end, you just have to do what you have to do. So I have these paw prints everywhere, so I'm going to have to put a paw print in there somewhere because I have paw prints. So here we go. I just put my 2 ribbons together. You can put whichever one you want on the top. Doesn't really matter. They'll both show the same amount. I fold it up in half, as close as I can get it. Then I take that half point and I scrunch my ribbon. And I have it in my hand here, and I'm going to put it in the twist tie. Again, you know, we don't have to be particular about how you put it in. I do go down to the mesh. You don't have to do that either. You could go ahead and just stick it on top after your 2 twists and just go ahead and put it in that way. Now I've got 4 streams of ribbon here, 2 ends on each side. And I try to place, I just pull them apart. I try to place it so that the 2 that are alike are across from each other. So I've got the Go Team and the paw prints across from each other. Then you have a twist tie sticking up. And really on this wreath, I'm not going to put anything else in there. So I did go ahead and tie it about 4 times. 3, 4, whatever. And then some people take a pencil, but I just take the twist tie and roll it down with my hands. Now, like I said, you could take a pencil or a pen or something round that you could use to roll those down, or you could just push them down under. You just push them down under here, however you want to do it to hide your twist ties. Now, sometimes you don't even want to hide them, especially if the color of the twist ties is part of your color scheme. Okay, I have another one. I think I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay, I have 2 more ribbons. Here's another twist tie. Now, this is the one that I told you at the beginning was one of the twist ties was broken off, and I just stuck a pipe cleaner on there. So, okay, 2's usually my limit, so maybe I won't do any more. So, I have these 2 together. I can have them right on top of each other. I can have them slanted a little bit. Again, I want to find the middle, and I just did that by doubling it like this and just scrunch, 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 scrunch. Put it in the twist tie. And again, since this is all I'm going to put in this twist tie, I will give it a couple of extra twists. I'm just one of these that has to overdo sometimes, but I want to be sure that that's not going to come loose. So I just twisted that now. And I take the other end of the pipe cleaner and twist it down. Okay. I'm going to pull these two apart. And I want the polka dots to be across from each other. So, and the solids across from each other. And I really am thinking I need to, and that mash the pipe cleaner a little bit just to give it a little more security so that it'll hold it tight, hold the ribbon tight. And again, like I said, just have them coming across from each other. Now, I had done all these others while watching TV, and I cut my ribbons. So, you see, even though some of this does take a little time to do, there are parts of it you can do while you're watching TV or talking on the phone or whatever you are doing. If you can multitask, you could do some of these things while you're doing another thing. So, I have all my ribbons. Did that not make a difference? Oh my goodness. Now this one, now I do have more to put on here. I'm just not going to put any more ribbons in the twist ties. But look how much better this looks with the ribbon. I love ribbon. Now, when you think you have enough ribbon, add some more. So I'm going to be doing that in just a minute. First thing, though, I'm going to do the thing I do not like to do. This is the thing I like to do the least. I'm going to put my UK license plate on here. You may have something completely different that you want to put on. You may have another team that you want to represent. Now I'm looking to see where I also am going to put a bow on here. So I think that's a good place for the bow, which means I will be putting the UK sign, the license plate, in the center, as well as I can get it in the center. It has 4 little holes. Now some of your like metal signs, you may want to, you may have to poke your own holes. I know there are, there's something that is, I think, a jewelry tool, and I've got, that's called a bead something, and it pokes little holes, and you can get that to go through thin metal if you have metal signs. There's a lady, her name is, her store is Personalize It with Pam. So I think her name's Pam, and she will personalize signs, but you can probably find her Etsy store. Let me show you, though, what I did. I took a pipe cleaner, folded it about in half, stick it through. I did that on all 4 of these holes. Now, I want my sign to be right about there because there's quite a bit of solid blue there. So I just place it on top. And you don't want to mash your sign down too far, but you have to do it enough to get the pipe cleaner to hold to the frame. So I want to go down to the frame. I can even poke through the mesh if I need to, or I may be, as I am in this case, I'm able to just find the frame, and I pull that down a little bit. I twist it right on the frame, and then I may have to adjust again. So I'm going to twist this a little bit. Well, I think I went too far. Okay, here we go. I want it to be about like that. I don't know about you guys, if you've ever done this before, but this is absolutely my least favorite part of making a wreath. Okay, I've got it twisted. I may have to do some more twisting. So I have to see if I think that's too far or not far enough. I think that's about right. So I'm going over here. You notice my ribbons are just every which way, but you know what? You can fluff these ribbons. I love to fluff. Okay, now I want to try to make sure I'm getting this in the center. That light is... I'm going to try to make sure I'm getting it in the center. So I hold it up a little bit. And I think this will work. I have my pipe cleaner again. And yippee! I'm able to get right to the frame with no trouble. Now the last one I made like this, I was having to go through the mesh and all that, and it worked, but this one seems to be a little easier. Okay, now I have to get the top part of the sign. So again, I'm taking my pipe cleaner, or my chenille stem, as you might call it. I have found, I hope, let's see if I can find the frame. Oh, I think I'm going to have to go through some mesh to get to this frame, this part of the frame. So, here we go. In fact, I think I'm, no, I think I'll go right here. Great, great, great. I like it when I can just put it right on the frame, not have to go in a twist tie. So, here we go. I'm tying it. Tying this pipe cleaner. Okay. Most of it is done as far as... Now, I think I'd like to have it up just a little bit, so when I put this one on, let me go down in here, and I want it to come up. So, I am able to tie this to the frame. Here we go. Now, let's see what we have. And again, I'm going to fluff these ribbons. You always have to do that. But I'll do more of that later. I won't do all of it. I just like to get a good look at it after I do something. Okay, let me see how this looks. Okay, I'm going to come back here and pull down some of this mesh. Don't want holes showing, although when it gets on a door, you really won't see anything. If there are holes, you can always add another poof, or you could add ribbon. So, looking good. I think I love it. Okay. Here comes another big deal. Now, I made this bow, and I'm going to show you how to make this bow. I think I'll do it at the end so that if you already know how to make it, you don't have to watch it. And you could just turn it off, or if you want to watch it, you can. And you may say, oh my goodness, she's already got so much ribbon on there. Why does she need a bow? Oh my goodness, wait till you see it. It just makes it look fabuloso. I made it with a chenille stem, a blue chenille stem. And I have twisted it. Let me make sure I don't twist it the wrong way here. I don't want to undo it. Whoops, I just undid it. I just tie it again. That's a bad thing, especially on these dark chenille stems. You can't see which way you turned it. Okay, so I'm ready to, I've already fluffed, but like I said, I love to fluff. And we can fluff more when it gets on. So I've determined that this is the position I want the bow to be in. I place the bow on top. Then I try to feed the chenille stem through, down through this position. I don't want to pull it too tight because that would make it, it would pull it down and you wouldn't be able to see the bow. It would just be all crunched up. So I am, as you can see what I'm doing here, on the back. I'm trying to get this, there it goes. I got the pipe cleaner, chenille stem, whatever. Oh, that looks good. And I didn't really have to, I didn't pull it down too far. I'm giving it a few twists. I'll go back later on the back and make sure everything looks good. So let's see, I want to be sure that we don't want any empty spaces. I'm just pulling things around here a little bit. And I may have to adjust the bow and the streamers just a little to, so it doesn't just cover up the sign. So what I did in the last one, I just, after I had it all stabilized, I cut off, like I might cut this streamer off a little bit so that it doesn't hide the U. So let me do that. We'll see what it looks like. And I'm pulling up the mesh that's behind some of it. Like I said, we want to, I'm going to sort of adjust the bow. I don't want to have to cut very much of my ribbon, but let me cut a little and see if that helps. There are other ribbons down here vying for a place also. Here we go. Get my handy dandy scissors. You know what? I got these for $1. They were at the end of the season at Walmart. They had their like grilling tools and things, and they had them on sale. I guess they were on sale. I don't know. Maybe they're always $1. So they were $1. Not bad. You know, I figure I can buy a new pair for $1 every once in a while. And, at least when you first get them, even if they are inexpensive, they work. They might wear out after a little while, but hey, go spend another $1 and you got a new pair. Here we go. I keep saying here we go, don't I? Like I'm going somewhere. Okay. And again, now look, I know you can't maybe see it as well as I can, but I love having the bow. I just like to squeeze in as much as I can. And I may, you know, try to even push it over a little bit so it's not right on top of the sign, but oh, I just love it. And I'll push that under there so I love that. Okay, but guess what? I'm not done. I'm going to add some more onto the bow. I'm going to add, let's go for that. I'm going to add some tails on the bow. 3 tails. I didn't use all 4 ribbons. To tell you the truth, my blue ribbon here, the solid, it's not quite as high quality, I don't think. Well, maybe it is, but it's sort of thin. And so I'm going to make my 3 streamers. You know, bows have to have streamers. And I'm going to do that with these 3 ribbons. I'm going to, as you can see, I've got the Go Team. I'm putting the paws in the middle since it's mostly white. So I'm putting the 2 that are mostly blue on the sides and this one down the middle. Now, how am I going to get those together? Well, I'm going to use a zip tie. You can use whatever. You might use floral wire. I might even add a little glue into this. I just want to be sure that it is secure. So I'm going to scrunch it a little bit. Then I'm going to, remember on zip ties, the flat side of the one that has the hole in it that you put the other end into, the flat side is where you want to put this end into. So I put that in there and I just pull. Da-da-da. You can't get anything much tighter than that. These are great for, even for your bows. A lot of times I use that to secure my bow. So I think I'll take this other pair of expensive scissors and cut that off. They were $1 also at the Dollar Tree, I think. Okay, so look, I've got my streamers. They're not very pretty at the bottom, but we'll fix that. So here we go. There, I said that again. Oh, I've got to find something else to say. Under my bow, I want to attach this. And I'm going to glue it, and I may also, I think I'll also use a pipe cleaner to secure it to the frame. I just have to do that. Gotta have it secure. And I'm afraid glue and mesh don't always bond. They do quite a bit, but a trick my mother used to do is take needle nose pliers and pull up here where you are twisting and take those needle nose pliers and twist, and buddy, that will stay. So I'm going to feed this down to the back. Does this seem like a lot of work? It's really not. And when you get the final result, oh my gosh, it is just gorgeous. So I'm twisting it back here. I fit it through. I'm twisting. I will twist some more before I completely finish. Now I have 3 beautiful tails, but they're not as beautiful as they could be. So we're going to make them even more beautiful. See that? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Now when I'm finished, I will put this on my easel and let you see the entire result. So I've got these 3, the tails, the streamers, and they're wired. Well, first of all, of course, we like our chevron, dovetail, whatever you want to call it, end. So we fold it with the wire sides touching here. I'm going to start on the folded side and cut upward at an angle to the wired side. I didn't get that little wire, so okay, I'll do it to all 3 of these ribbons. Like I said, it's called chevron or dovetail or snake. Something about a snake. Snake. I don't know if it's things or whatever. Whoops. One more. Now, I cut these about a yard. I didn't cut the polka dot one quite that long. I like to have a little variety. So this is what I'm going to do to get them to look really, really nice. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm just rolling this up. Remember, it's wired. So I'm just going to hold it there for a sec. This is the white one that I want sort of in the middle. It doesn't have to be, but I want to have a little variety. I don't want all the blues together. Okay, I'll put that up there. And then this is the Go Team. And you can just, you decide how tightly you want to roll it, because you can always pull it out if you get it too tight. So now I have all three of these. And here I am fluffing over here on the bow. I'll do more to it later. So here we go. Again. And this time, let's see. I think I'll pull it out a little bit this way. I may re-roll that. You can even take your hands and do that. Okay, here we go. Oh, cute. Cute, cute, cute. Same here. Grab that little end and pull it through. And again, we have another cutie. When I get it on the easel, I'll make sure it looks. But these are your streamers that will hang down from your bow. Oh, and I think that makes it so cute. Well, folks, other than me just going back there and tying some loose ends on the back together, I think we're finished. But I will show you the finished product, and I will, after that, I'll show you how I made the bow. I just love those. I promised I would do a video on making the bow that we put on the wreath that we just made. This is the bow after it's finished, and I will go through the major steps and give you a video tutorial so that maybe you can make this yourself. I will be giving some other tutorials on making bows later. This is not really a complicated bow, but there are several steps. First thing I did was I just determined that I wanted 4 loops on each side of my bow. I wanted a rather big bow. You could do 2 loops on each side, 3, whatever. So I picked 4 ribbons, and I have to cut them each the same size. I chose 26 inches. I've done some of these bows before, so I knew that was a pretty good measurement. So I'm going to get started on that. I will try to, I won't say go as fast as I can, but I don't want to bore you with a lot of cutting and so forth. So I'm going to measure 26 inches, and I want 2 strips that measure 26 inches of each of these ribbons. So I'm just going to, this is a little shortcut. I measured the first one, then I just put it beside my second one, and I cut it so it should also be 26 inches long or something close to that. It's not an exact science. I think I've said that before. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our two. We got our two strips that say Go Team. I'm going to go ahead at this time and chevron the edges of the ribbon, the ends of the ribbon. We've talked about chevron, dovetail before, whatever you want to call it. It just gives the bow and the ends of the ribbon a little more definition and professional look. Because, you know, we're all professionals. So let's do that to the other end. And in a minute you'll see why, because all these ends will be showing, as you see here in this bow. Got that ribbon is finished. Then we have the polka dot, which I don't think we'll have enough on it, so I have another one right here. I'm a ribbon fiend. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm going to say if you're much of a crafter, you're a ribbon fiend too. There's just something about it that just is so beautiful. It just draws me to the ribbon. My husband just thinks it's a sickness. I'm beginning to think he's right. So I just cut that off because it was folded over. And again, I measure 26 inches. I fold this, measure down 20. I know I'm measuring down 26 inches because this first one is 26 inches. So I cut it. I cut the folded part so that it will separate into two pieces. And I don't have to put these in any kind of fronts to fronts or backs to backs. It doesn't matter because we're just putting like a V cut. So we start down here on the folded edge, go upward in a diagonal fashion to the wired edge. Go to the other two ends. And you know, if you like more of a streamlined method, you might want to cut all the ribbons and then cut all the V-cuts or chevrons. But it just gives me a little break sometimes just to go ahead and do a couple of different things. It gets a little boring if you have too many ribbons to cut and you just have to do the same thing over and over. Here's 26. I fold it. Bring this down. And you know, if I get off an inch, it's not going to matter. So this does not have to be precise. So I cut this one. I've got two 26s, but I need to cut here where I folded it. I hope this all makes sense to you so far. I'm going to just fold that under while I'm here. Go from the folded edge up to the wired edge. Make a V. Do the same thing down here. I'm just going to fold that in half so that my all four wired edges are right there together. I start at the fold. I go upward to the wire. And I only have one more ribbon to cut. When I get finished, I'll put all those together and put them in their place. So I'm sort of excited today because we are going to a Murray State University basketball game tonight. They're playing Austin Peay. And it's supposed to be a very big crowd. My grandson, who goes to the high school in Murray, he some club or organization has asked him to shoot a half-court shot for them to represent their organization. I don't know if it's a charity. I've forgotten exactly what it is, but he's going to shoot a half-court shot. If he makes it, the organization he's shooting for will receive a certain amount of money. I don't even know how much that is for their, I think it is a charitable donation. So I'm excited to go, but of course Granny's going to be a little scared too. I don't want to. See, if Granny got out there, I'd probably fall over the center court line. Now, he surely won't do that. I just want him to do well, whatever he does. He doesn't even have to hit the shot. Just get out there and do the best he can. All right, I have 8 ribbons. I'm going to cheat and use my Bodabra as a helping hand. Now, if I had another person here, that person could help me. But I don't have anyone, so I'm going to use my Bodabra. Don't know if you've ever used one before, but today I want to think about what we're going to do first. I want us to think about it, because I get in so much trouble when I don't think about something before I do it. And so that's what I'm going to do. I want 4 loops on each side. And the way I'll make my first loop, and here's another thing, this is just the way I do it. When the loop goes down, let's just say this is our first loop. It doesn't matter. I fold this 26-inch strip in half. I measure from the edge of the ribbon, the end of the ribbon, from the point, not from these wired points. I measure from there down to 7 inches. So I know that my my loop will have 2 tails, and they'll be 7 inches long. Okay, the next thing is just pinch this together, and you see my loop is a 6-inch loop. It took 12 inches of ribbon to make it, but it's 6-inch loop, and I have 2 tails. But they're not facing the same way, so if they're on the bow like this, this ugly side will be up. We call it in sewing, we call it the right side and the wrong sides when we are talking about material. Same thing here. So what I did, let me do that again. I took the back one and I just sort of let up on this finger here, and I gave this a twist. Now look what I have. I have both of the tails going in the same direction, and that's what I want. The next thing is, and I should have done this at the beginning, but it doesn't matter really if you do it at the beginning or end. It makes it a little easier to do it at the beginning. I'm going to secure this bow with a twist tie, a zip tie. And so I got a fairly long one. I'll cut it off. I don't need all of it, but it doesn't hurt to have it plenty long, because I'm going to, if you can see here, these pieces here are sort of springy. And so I'm going to go down between those two. And can you see that I've got my zip tie right in the middle, and it just fell out. But it's so easy to put back in. So I've got my zip tie in here. And here's another thing I want to tell you about a zip tie. When you clamp your zip tie together, I'm going to put that down for a second and show you. This zip tie has sort of a smooth side here, and then this side is raised. This, at the end of the zip tie, it's raised. You want the pointed end to go in the side that's flush with the zip tie. you want it to go in the smooth part. I don't want to push it in too much right now because it'll start catching. So anyway, if you don't do it that way, you'll figure out in just a short time you did it wrong. So that's just a little tip on zip ties. I've got my ribbon and I've twisted the back one, and now they're facing both facing the same direction. Okay, this is my helper here. I'm going to ask my helper to take my bow and place the right side of the ribbon, the pretty side, whatever you want to call it, downward so that it is facing my table. It's facing down. Of course, this has, you know, both sides are good, so we don't have to worry about the loop. Just the tails. We've got to be sure it's this way, because this is actually going to be, when I take this out, I'm going to turn it around. It's going to be the top of the ribbon, the top of the bow. See my bow over here? That's the top of it. Next, I just pick a different ribbon, whichever one. It doesn't really matter which one. I'm going to go with the Go Team. I do this. I fold it in half. Like I said, I did some measuring, so I knew how big I wanted my loops and my tails. I'm going to measure my tails to be 7 inches, and I pinch, scrunch, whatever you want to call it. And again, I have to take my back part of the ribbon and twist it. Hold my fingers on it, and there we are. Now, since I have a loop over here, I want my next loop to go on the other side, and I also need to remember it goes, the right side goes down. So see, I have a loop on this side and a loop on that side. With 8 ribbons, I'm going to end up with 4 on each side, aren't I? Let me turn that around there. Okay. Now here's another little handy dandy tool that comes with the bow dabber that you can just put down. See how I can slide it in between these two? And you can do this to scrunch it down in case it tries to come up or loosen up or whatever. My next ribbon, I think I'll try this solid blue. It's a little bit thin. It's not as thick as the others, but it's a pretty, pretty ribbon. So, again, how many inches? Let me hear you. This is not live, so I can't hear you. But 7 inches from the tip up to where I'm going to pinch. If I wanted a longer loop, I would maybe not come up so far as 7 inches. I might come up 5, make a bigger loop, but I'd have a shorter tail, wouldn't I? You just have to sort of experiment and see what you like. Now this ribbon is the same on both sides. I don't really even have to twist it, but I'll go ahead and do it because, you know, you got to do things. I know at church a lot of times we say, oh, but we've always done it this way, so we've got to do it. Here I am again. I have a loop over here. I made my second loop there, and I will make my third loop go this direction. I want to try to get, because we're going to have to do a little more thinking in a minute, I want to try to get 4 ribbons of one kind, 4 loops of 4 loops of ribbon that are all different on one side. So far I've got that. So the next one, I'll just grab this polka dot, as my grandmother would have said. And I put my ends together, fold it in half, and I measure out 7 inches on my new mat that I'm so proud of. Got it for $19.95, 20 bucks, you might say, at a quilt retreat. Then I got, there's another one, I think you can see part of it. It's a smaller one. I got it for $9.95. You just can't beat that. This is 36 inches by 36 inches, I think. No, 36 by 24. 36 by 24. So it's a 3 feet by 2 feet. Okay, I've done the same thing with this. I just did it while I was talking. I didn't even think about it. And you'll get that way. But now, if I lay it this way, that's wrong. I have to have it pointing down. I want the good side pointing down. Okay, I only have one more kind of ribbon for now to put in here to make 4 different kinds. And I can always adjust and scrunch. Look how it pops both sides up. So I need this ribbon. Oh, wait, I've already done the goatee. I haven't done, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done 4 loops. So whichever one I do next, I just want to be sure and not put the same one. Like I wouldn't want to put another polka dot loop over here. I would want my loop to be over here. So I'll just start with this one. This is what I started with in the beginning. Now, after I've done 4 of these, 2 on each side, I have to think again. I've already used all my different types of ribbon. So I'm going to, I have told you I want 4 loops on each side. And I don't really want the loops to be the same. I want 4 different colored, different patterned ribbons on each side. It really would not hurt if you put this one in next, even though that would give you 2 on this side. But since I did think before I did it, I'm going to go ahead and start it over here. Okay, I'm going to measure my 7. I'm going to pinch to grow an inch. Remember, when you get a spanking for your birthday, you get a pinch to grow an inch. I take the back tail and I twist it. Now, look, I've got my 2 going together. And really and truly, I could put it this way or that way. It does not make that much difference, because when you start fluffing it, you see this? I mean, you can just pull those ribbons to any side you want. But, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. And I have my tails going, my good side going down. Then the next one, oh, I can do actually any, but on this one I went with the goatee next, so I'll just do that again. It doesn't matter. You could just put them in any way you want to, and it'll look fine. So, scrunchy, wrenchy, wrenchy here. Get your loop, your 6-inch loop that takes 12 inches of material. You take the back tail, give it a twist. I would sing Chubby Checker's twist song, but I can't sing. So we did do that. We've been doing the twist a lot here. I put this one down. I want to go this way. See, I sort of broke the rule here when I put 2 loops together instead of switching, but I did that because I wanted this one over here, and I didn't want 2 paw print loops. But, you know what? It wouldn't matter if you did, if you do that. Okay, so the next one I put in here was the blue. You know, I'm beginning to like this blue better than I thought I would. It is soft and beautiful color. Measure 7 inches. Do the scrunch. Hey, we could make a song. Do the scrunch instead of the twist. But next, we're going to do the twist. Like we did last summer. I lived in near Detroit when I was growing up until I was 15, so I loved all the Motown stuff. Here we go. We have another one ready. And I put the loop over here last time, so I'll put it over here, and it really doesn't matter which way I turn it because both sides of this ribbon look the same. I don't have to do this, but I just like to do it. Okay, last one. Fold it in half. Measure. Make our 6-inch loop. And we'll twist the tail here. Look at that. We have the right sides facing the same direction. And I'm going to put the loop over here. So I want this facing, I want my right sides facing down on the tails. And that's all of the ribbon. Now you probably couldn't, I'm not going to say couldn't, I haven't tried it yet, but I don't know if you could use the bow debra with, if you were using ribbon off of the spool, because sometimes when you make this kind of bow, you'll just sort of pull it off the spool, make a loop, then you'll just pull around and make another loop and make a tail. So I don't know if that, would work. I think it could work, but anyway, I just used this. Some people call it a cheating method, but I don't. My mother and I started making bows at least 35 years ago, I guess, 30, 35. And she ended up having a shop at her home, a flower shop, and she taught herself to make bows by, if she found a magazine or any kind of book at Hobby Lobby on how to make bows or how to make flower arrangements, she bought it. We didn't have computers and cell phones and all that, so we did everything by hand then, the bows. But don't ever let anybody tell you you're not really making a bow if you use a bow maker, because the bow maker doesn't make the bow. You're still making the bow. And it's silly to, if your hands hurt or something like that, it's silly to not use it. So, you see what I did? I just pulled up my zip tie. And I'm going to place this pointy edge into the smooth side, and I can pull it just as tight as I want to, but I don't want to do that just yet because I want to add in a pipe cleaner or a chenille stem. I want to add that in, and I want it to be at the bottom, which is one of the reasons I wanted my zip tie, or I wanted my bow to face downward, because when I bring it up, I want this to be the back. I don't want this twist tie, the latch, I don't want that on the front of the bow. It probably really wouldn't hurt because you could still hide it. But see, all you do now, I've got my my pipe cleaner in there. The reason I wanted the pipe cleaner is because that's going to be what I use to attach the bow to the wreath. So I have that, about in half there, caught in the zip tie. I just pull that as tight as possible. The reason you want to pull it just as tight as you can is because now we're ready to fluff. And if you are going to be pulling on these ribbons and tails, you want it to be very sturdy. This is how it turns out, but I'll go ahead and show you what I did. I fluffed it. I love to fluff. This could be fluffed just in my hand. I could hold it in my hand and fluff it. I could put it on the table and do some fluffing and then hold it. But I have this little, it's called a fluff box. If you have a pro bow, Regina Sellers invented the pro bow. Oh my gosh, it makes beautiful bows. And this is what they call the fluff box for you to fluff the bow after you make it. She even tells you, if you want to, just make your own fluff box, because they are heavy, the ones they sell. I'm going to say the shipping would be a little bit pricey because it is heavy. But I just took 2 cutting boards, glued them together. One's littler than the other. You put a cup hook, you know, where you hang cups. You put a nail here. You put the cup hook about in the middle. You put the nail here. I really wish I'd put my nail up further, but oh well. So I have my pipe cleaner. What you do is you take one end of your pipe cleaner, or you could use floral wire or whatever. Just sort of twist it around the hook. Come back here on the nail. Give it just a twist or two. That's all it takes. Now it's on there, and all you have to do is fluff your little heart to your heart's content. Oh, everybody likes to fluff. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this zip tie. I can cut it off even more later. I just start pulling. I'm going to stand up for that. And you can see, you can just pull, get these like you want it. If you don't like it, pull it in another direction. I got my loop over here. I got one of the tails over here. I have a loop over here, and I can find another tail that matches it over here. So you're going to have a loop and 2 tails. You can, if you space these out, you can have 4, you'll have 4 loops and 8 tails when you're finished. Well, you already have them. You just have to fluff it. So, I like to sort of pull the loops up a little. I love the loops. But it all just goes together and just makes a beautiful bow. So, here we go. Where do I want that to go? I might just pull it down here and pull it over that way. You can just do whatever you want with these things because they are in so tight. If that were loose, if I had used a pipe cleaner or if I had not tightened my zip tie very tight, I would have a mess. I would be pulling out the loops and the tails, and they'd all be all kinds of different sizes, and it would be a total mess. Or as they say these days, it would be a hot mess. So, I just sort of, pull that one up a little. And even if you get it on your wreath or whatever it is you're going to use this to accessorize, then you will probably want to fluff a little more. I think that's all I'm going to fluff for now. I'm not going to say I won't fluff again. Let me show this to you just a second. Yum, yum. It looks luscious to me. I just love these kind of bows. Wouldn't that be pretty in pastels for Easter or black and white? Anything, any season, any occasion. Just pick out what colors you like. You could do all 8, could be different. I had 8 pieces of ribbon. I had 2 of each design, but you could even do 8 different designs if you wanted to. But I think it turned out great. You guys have a wonderful weekend. This is Saturday. I'm going to get ready to go to the ball game. I'll let y'all know next time how he did. Bye.